An enormous economic storm is on the rampage, and it's almost knocking at your door. Similarly, Elon Musk is aware and warns of this ravaging hurricane. With that in place, should we be nervous about this situation? Don't worry, we have you covered, and we will make sure you have a clue of how you can propel your way out of this incoming problem. So hang tight. To begin, Elon Musk sees the similarity of the incoming situation to the recent subprime mortgage crisis in 2007. So what escalated in that period? So that we have an idea of what to expect. In that duration, millions of customers had received low-interest mortgage loans thanks to the consecutive deductions in prime rates since 2001. As the loans were user-friendly, more consumers wanted to acquire new homes, resulting in a hike in home prices. Things took a drastic turn in 2005 when the interest rates shot up, and all this affected the affordability of purchasing new houses. The prices rose enormously, and the well-qualified borrowers could not meet the unique housing cost, as some saw it as an exaggerated and ridiculous way of indebting them further. The housing orders declined significantly as most subprime borrowers found themselves in a giant hole they could not escape. First, loan payments were tough for those that used adjustable rate mortgages, ARM. Secondly, most were unable to make sales of their home to get profit because, yet again, the demand for housing was ripping apart. Hence, saving themselves from this situation had slim chances, as most of them had to incur losses and face the wrath of the economic crisis. To add more fuel to the fire, banks took a bold move by terminating loans to subprime customers, which facilitated the decline in costs and demand. Conversely, the banks were unsafe because they had to endure some losses. After all, the loans they gave out were part of its assets. Similarly, the banks would find difficulty in tracing the loans, and this caused credit facilities to be at a standstill, which limited businesses and customers who were creditworthy to getting loans. Moreover, companies were affected as they aimed to slash their expenditure and investments. As a result, there were numerous layoffs which slowed down the order of their products because their consumers were unemployed. More specifically, car companies such as Chrysler and General Motors were proclaimed bankrupt, and desperately they needed to agree on partial government possession such as bailout programs. During this time, there was low buying power as consumer confidence had considerably deteriorated, as many were cautious with their spending because of incoming emergencies. All these situations paved the way for the recession in December 2007. The case was severe, and the poverty rate transitioned from 12.5% to 15% in 2010. To solve this economic massacre, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act was enacted as a law through legislation procedure by the Fed. A move that saw the injection of funds to the budget to enable job preservation and job creation, as well as broadening unemployment insurance accompanied by safety net schedules such as food stamps. However, the law did not have a bearing on the situation because poverty levels among young adults and children surged to 22%, and the United States lost a considerable amount of wealth. The loss resulted from the decline in stock prices, which was a margin of 57%, which is an estimated value of $16 trillion. Quite shocking, right? There is a proverb that says that the poor will get poorer and the rich will get richer. This is achieved by how the wealthy showed signs of gain despite the economic pandemic, while the average and the poor incurred losses. What does this tell you? This indicates that those who suffer at most in a recession period are the poor and average, and this means that you should start saving more frequently if you belong in that class, in preparation for the disaster. You don't want to get caught up in a situation where you don't have money set aside for emergencies, so start living frugally today. In another story, what's more surprising is that the economic downturn did not affect the United States alone, but other countries were deeply affected. For instance, Latvia anticipated a 25% decrease in its gross domestic product. Furthermore, investors from outside who had ventured into the companies of the United States also followed the same suit. With a clear view of what to expect, we have a precise picture of how Elon Musk foresees the incoming inflation. From my point of view, we should brace for tough times ahead, and it's upon you to avoid being struck by the situation by finding ways to increase your financial capacity. How can you achieve this? You can start venturing on a side hustle, like script writing on Upwork or selling what you don't need. Similarly, you must train yourself to be financially disciplined and throw at least 15% of your paycheck into a savings account. All these will save you from the potential worst, and you'll be on your feet if a recession occurs. Secondly, Elon Musk alerts you that the odds of the recession occurring are more than 60%, and you should be ready for the ultimate worst. In a podcast, Elon Musk said the only thing that can save recession, according to Elon Musk, is hope. Very sarcastic, right? Considering hope has never been a strategy. So what does he mean when he says, "Let us hope for the best"? Internalizing this statement, he refers to the Fed as the only ray of light to save the economy of the United States from a potential rapture. Technically, he hopes the Fed will rescue and cut off the rates. Nevertheless, he does not rule out the possible worst, which carries a more significant percentage of his prediction. It's ridiculous when the only source of hope opposes what is expected. The Fed, in each of their last 4 meetings, has hiked their interest rates by 0.75% points. And from the looks of things, at the 5th meeting, we will witness another climb in interest rates. To summarize, I think hope should be the last thing in our minds, because from the trend, the Fed won't back down from raising their interest rates as they attempt to tighten up the monetary policies while they ignore the consequences of their actions. Based on this assessment, I can proudly judge from my own opinion that the probability of hoping things to be okay is roughly 30%, and the likelihood of recession is 70%. So what does this tell you? We will foresee many layoffs in the future, and you should not be comfortable with being employed. Likewise, you should not put all your eggs in one basket, and perhaps you should start looking for a backup plan if you get fired. Regarding a backup plan, you can begin exploring how you can earn money on the web from your skills. For example, many companies on LinkedIn are looking for personnel who are good at tech that can work remotely. And if you are good in skills like coding, you can try your luck. A third point of concern is that Elon Musk advises you to take caution with margin debt. He propagates that it can cause mass panic, and we can expound this reasoning from various perspectives. One primary philosophy is when your balance as an investor drops down below the minimum cost needed by the broker. Because you are focused on investing and don't want to lose, you panic and make a margin call. This margin call requires you to inject more funds to meet the minimum value needed by the broker. On an individual level, you risk a loss because sometimes the market trend shifts. At the economic level, the recession is most probable when there are more margin debts witnessed in cases such as the Great Recession in 2008, where the margin debts had risen by more than 60%. Generally, we can't rule out margin debt as an indicator of an economic plunge, and it's why Elon Musk tells you to refrain from margin debt because it is vicious to an investor and the economy as a whole. Seemingly, Elon Musk sheds light on the situation. He says the recession wouldn't last forever as the problem will take another drastic turn of healing and recovery. Terming recession as cyclic, he addresses that the same way recession has been in and out is a similar way this incoming recession will come and pass. The economy at one time will have to go through hell as everything is falling apart, as the Fed is intentionally doing this to facilitate an economic reset. Typically, he thinks that the economy would resettle after 12 to 18 months. In his tweet, he said that from his experience, companies will endure negative cash flows in that duration before revamping back on track. What can we learn from this? The timeline suggested by Elon is advice that the best time to venture into investing or even starting your own business is probably towards the end of 2024 or mid-2025. It may seem long, right? But trust me, it's worth it. All you have to do now is to pause the plans and save up any money you receive. The final opinion is controversial, and Elon Musk shared his sentiments on his platform, Twitter. With Twitter known for no censorship of posts, Elon Musk took advantage of the freedom to ascertain that he is proud of seeing the recession happen. Describing some cartels as fools, he said it was time for them to experience a bit of bankruptcy as they have been reaping the benefits for so long. In addition, he criticizes how the stay-at-home agenda during the COVID period has promoted laziness and describes the recession as a rude awakening that will enable people to arrive to their senses that not everything in this life will come on a silver platter. But technically, he is right, considering how the economy picked up when the COVID slogan was abolished, and people realized that they were suffering when they stayed in their houses. Lastly, in preparation for a potential recession, Elon Musk backed his prediction by doing numerous layoffs in his company, Tesla. a move that he describes as being super bad as he did the opposite of his will. Imagine you, as an employer, letting go of your best employers because of a sudden economic turn, and you want to save your company from the worst. Pretty stressful, right? In the course of action, Tesla is preparing to oversee new layoffs in the adjacent quarter. Are you sailing in the same boat as Elon Musk? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more trending and informative videos in economics. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that good content does not pass you by. Thanks for watching.